Tucked away off a long acre, Yotopia is a hidden gem full of peace, tranquility, and sweat. I'm here today to speak to Caroline Tautz about yoga, fascia, and keeping zen in a busy city. So I think most importantly, I'd like to find out, what is yoga for you?
Well, for me it's very much a way of life because I've been doing it for a long time. It's a space that I can go to centre myself and ground myself and find calmness. It's like a meditation for me, the practice itself. But it's also somewhere that I share my creativity and enjoyment of movement with lots of other people. Recently, there's been a lot more written about where yoga came from and how it's evolved in the West. And I think yoga, as it was originally, wasn't really very much of a movement practice, it was more of a meditation practice. And it's probably in much more recent times, only in the last century, that it's evolved as such a physical practice. But that practice, Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, came from India, as did Iyengar Yoga, and they were the two really main practices which came to the West. But then there are lots of others now that have sprung out of that.
So you need to keep going forwards with the shoulders, that's it, and up.
So should I move it like this?
That's it, yes, to lift up a little more with the bum. That's it. Up. Squeeze in and up. Squeeze and lift as much as you can. That's it. Up, 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 up. Good, good, good. That's the movement you want to do with your shoulders, is that feeling of lifting up. That's it. Now find the little point with the bum. That's it. A little squeezing in, squeezing in, squeezing in. Beautiful. That's it. And before you practice, you get the feeling of it.
I think when you actually come into a class, if you can really tune in and listen, then you can practice in a more appropriate way for that day. So say you're feeling quite tired and you come into class. If you then tune in and you feel, yeah, my energy is a bit low, then you can soften up and take it more gently, and don't be so aggressive with yourself, and don't force yourself through feeling like you've got to get somewhere. Because ultimately it's not really about going somewhere, it's about being here now with what is and finding out what that is.
Talking about body wisdom, what is fascia?
Well, fascia is like a bit of a buzzword in the movement community. It's like the kind of the gluey, sticky stuff that holds us together. It's like a huge web of continuous matrix-like tissue, and it's, you know, in the past people used to think more about the body in terms of the muscles and the bones and the tendons and the ligaments, and really the fascia is everywhere in our body, and it affects the way that you look at movement. It likes to move in all directions. And I learnt a really good saying when I was training at one point, which was that the mind likes habit, but the body likes variety. And so, you know, often we want to do the same thing every day. We get stuck in a rut, but the body really likes to move in loads of different ways.
Thank you. But, you know, I heard you also teach abroad.
Oh, yes, I do. I teach now for a company called Sardinia Yoga, and so I teach it in Sardinia. It's very nice because you get up in the morning and you do yoga between 8 and 10, so it's 2 hours overlooking the sea on a beautiful, sorry to make you feel jealous, but it is really nice. It's all outside. It's very nice because it's so relaxing. And it's just so good for you as well, doing yoga outside, you know. You can do yoga outside. I've done yoga in Greenwich Park, you know. I'd recommend it in the summer. It's also nice to go on a yoga holiday or a yoga retreat, because you're just really giving yourself time for healing and being with yourself. And I think we all need that, you know, especially when we live in London and it's quite a sort of manic pace of life.
What should we do when we are in London? I mean, in your opinion, what are a couple of tips for staying zen in London?
Well, I think staying zen is, you know, from my own experience, is like looking after yourself, so taking time out to go and do your yoga class, or even just going out for a walk in the park, being in nature, you know, going for a run or going swimming, whatever takes your fancy really, but just spending that time where you're in your body.
Well, this has been an amazing time to learn about you and your yoga, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Emeline.